My dear brothers and sisters, the first reading says, the greater you are, the humbler you should behave. It reminds me that if I think I am a greater person, then I have to reflect on my humbleness. The reading has very wise sayings. Teach us to live humbly as Christians today. Why? Because the one who behaves humbly finds favors with God. Remember that the first sin was pride. The devil told Eve, if you eat of the forbidden fruit, you will not die. You will become just like God, knowing everything, both good and evil. And Eve accepted. She wanted to be like God. There are two kinds of pride, and there are two kinds of humility. There is a healthy pride, which means being honest about the gifts which God has given to us. When I'm talking of the healthy pride, I mean we have to be honest with what God has given to us. For example, having a good mind, having a good education, having a good talents. I should not pride myself for having this, since we acknowledge this as coming from God and are grateful. St. Paul asks, what do you possess that you have not received? And if you have received it, why are you boasting as if you did not receive it? As I come to this Mass today, I have to ask myself, am I showing I recognize who my Lord is? Am I acknowledge He's my Lord by giving good adoration to Him? The other pride which human being can have is known as unhealthy pride. This kind of pride tries to convince me that I am perfect. It convinces us that we do not need to give God attention because we are quite capable of taking care of ourselves. Unhealthy pride causes us to look down on others who are not quite as good, or who are not talented as me, or who are not attractive, or who are not wealthy as me. This kind of pride can sometimes also backfire and turn itself on us. Therefore, the readings of today call us to be humble. We can ask, who is a humble person? Who is the humble person in the Christian context of today? St. Augustine as a beautiful definition of who is a humble person. I want to share with you the definition of St. Augustine. He says, a humble person is the one who accepts the truth, the one who speaks the truth, the one who lives the truth. This is the humble person. Therefore, the humble person accepts the truth, speaks the truth, and defends the truth. He can defend the truth in whatever situation he is or she is. Jesus is a humble because he accepted the truth, he spoke the truth, and he defended the truth, even when the truth costed him. He did not change his stand. He accepted the humiliation. He accepted the humiliated death of the cross so as to save me and you. And God exalted him from that death. The gospel passage from St. Luke today shows Jesus together with his disciples who are on the way to Jerusalem. Jesus is invited by one of the leading Pharisees for a meal. He accepts the invitation. On the table, Jesus makes two important observations. The first observation which he makes is about the invited people, and the second one about the host. Generally, according to the Jewish traditions, during celebrations, there are 4 categories of people who are invited, namely friends, relatives, family members, and the rich people. Looking on these people, Jesus being invited by a leading Pharisee was supposed to close his mouth, but he did not. He spoke the truth. He talked the truth, which he had in his mind. He reversed the order of invitation by proposing to the host his own order. He kept the 4 categories of people, but he changed their social status. Namely, you have to invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and finally, the blind. Let us ask ourselves today, when we prepare our invitation, our celebration, who do we prefer to invite to our social gathering? Whom do we prefer to invite for our celebrations? Is it according to Jesus' categories or the Jewish traditional categories? Is it according to the spiritual category of Jesus or social categories of the Jews? Jesus says, away from social status, let us invite marginalized, voiceless people, the second-class citizens. Just ask yourself, where are you? Into Jesus' categories or in social status categories? My dear brothers and sisters, the lesson which we can learn today is let us be humble. A humble person accepts the truth, speaks the truth, and defends the truth. He is generous to all in a special way to marginalized people. Let us ask God for the virtue of humility.